Whatever the spin, whatever the propaganda, whatever the PR, this World Cup in Qatar is just gross. It's absolutely gross. Security guards in Qatar working on projects linked to the World Cup, subject to conditions which amount to forced labour, say Amnesty International. They've released a new report actually after the official draw, and the human rights organisation has documented the experience of 34 employees from 8 private security companies. He said the migrant workers described working for months or even years without a day off. Bloody hell. Years without a day off. Most said their employers refused to respect the weekly rest day, which is required by Qatari law, and workers who took their days off faced being punished with arbitrary wage deductions. You know what? Not only have people died, they've basically used slave labour to build those stadiums. And one day it'll come out that, some type of FIFA bribes happened. Everyone knows that that's the case. How did they win the World Cup? They've got no history of playing football. But yeah, it's just also what's really, this is probably a very strange thing for me to say, but they're one of the richest countries in the world. Like, they've got the largest gas reserves in the world, and they've only got like 900,000 population. There's like 1.2 million Qataris, so it's just disgraceful. They really don't need to abuse workers. They could actually pay workers really well, but God knows what it is. But and a lot of these people are like really poor. They're from like Bangladesh, Pakistan, they're from Southeast Asia somewhere, and they're basically on visas, and they basically have to do what they're told. They're working like 60, 80 hours a week, no days off, probably having pay docked, and they're just happy to send money home. And I think people in the West, in Europe, don't realise that there's poverty here, but then there's a level of poverty that's way below this poverty. And if you go to places like Dubai, you see it. You see people working in 50-degree heat, and you think, you shouldn't really be working midday. And you see these sort of worker buses that are shipping sort of like migrant workers to building sites and to jobs, and it's just a horrendous system. And if you're going to have labour imported, you need to have really strong labour laws and labour regulations, but they don't. All sorts of things happen, and actually it's not just Qatar, it's in Saudi, it's in the UAE, it's around certain countries that are wealthy and feel like they can do that. And I'm not saying we're perfect, but like, this World Cup stinks. Absolutely stinks. People like David Beckham should be ashamed of themselves. Like, cashing in 200 million quid. Disgraceful. Like, I don't know, like, sometimes you need to take a stand on principle. And these people don't really have any principles, because everything's about money, everything's about pounds and cents, and I don't think they actually have that backbone. And actually, one of the lines they keep coming out with, which actually I find quite annoying, well, there's 2 lines. One, they're saying that it's important that a Muslim country gets the World Cup. But do you know why that's failed logic? Because there's loads of Muslim countries where people love football, by the way. In Iran, in Egypt, in Iraq, places like that, people love football. They're massively into football. The Qataris can't even play football. That's the first sort of logic that goes out of the window. And the other one, which is bullshit as well, which is the biggest set of bullshit, is that football is used to bring people together. Well, look, like Nazi Germany. I'm not comparing Qatar to Nazi Germany, so don't go crazy. But look what the Nazis did with the Olympics, right? Like, it's used as a propaganda event to project an image of your country that isn't true, an image of excellence and of great infrastructure and great rulers and benevolent rulers, and it's not true. It's not true. So sport's being used, the notion that somehow Qatar is going to change. Once the World Cup's over, I don't think that it's going to change, but these sort of dictatorial places are using these events to actually project an image. And this is why the Qataris bought Paris, or why the Emiratis bought Man City, and why the Saudis have bought Newcastle. It's to project. It's like, wow, we're modern, we're inclusive, we're liberal. It's bullshit. And the government of this country knows it. And everyone knows that this is a corrupt World Cup. And not only that, people have died to make the stadium. So Eric Cantona's boycotting the World Cup. I might do so too.